As you can tell, the music is gone. The little cool picture thing that has the three of us on there is gone, and I'm now talking to y'all. We got a few people tuning in right now for tonight's After Hours Live with the Specific Chiropractic Centers, Arkansas. We got some people on right now. Please come say hi in the chat. I want to see who's on. I want to see who I'm hanging out with, um, and be able to shout some people out. What we got going on tonight? Obviously, this is week 3 of doing this. We've had a blast doing these. We look forward to these every single week. Doing these after hour lives. Week 1, we gave away $100 giveaway. I think it ended up being used for Trader Joe's. Last week was 2 30-minute massages. Tonight on deck, we got $100 Whole Foods gift card. I know Dr. Cam shops at Whole Foods, and he gets a lot of goodies from there. Personally, I shop at Kroger and Fresh Market. Maybe we'll get some Fresh Market gift cards in here. Their tuna steak is fantastic. But before we get going, like always, you guys got to check and click subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're on Facebook, make sure to like what we got going on. Say hi. We got a couple people. What's up, Ashley? What's up, Carly? Tuning in live right now. And if you don't have the app, like I always say, if you don't have the app, I don't know what we're doing. Tonight, we're getting gassed up. We're getting a hair controversial. We're bringing in myths. Myths of what, though? Myths of healthcare. And myths of healthcare, there's probably going to be a lot of things that you guys might be thinking. Maybe throw in what do you guys think is your favorite myth in healthcare right now? And I think the twist that we are going to have on this tonight, it's going to be a little bit of a different flavor for you guys. So the flavor that I'm bringing, honestly, the flavor I'm bringing right now is my sugar-free hickory barbecue sauce that I smash all the time. Cam always gives me grief for it, but I crush that. Was it Sweet Bobby? No, not Sweet Baby Ray's. It's G Hughes. It's a G Hughes sugar-free sauce. It's bomb, and that hickory one is so good. That's the flavor I'm bringing tonight. Bringing in the mist, like I say, make sure to click subscribe on that YouTube channel. Oh, what's up? Hi. Appreciate y'all saying hi. Look at everybody coming in, chiming in, trying to win that 100 Whole Foods gift card. And we'll figure out a way to, obviously, a special way to be able to distribute that tonight. One lucky winner walking away with that. But y'all are here to hear what we got to say about some healthcare myths. So let's get it going. His sauces are good. There it is, Ashley. Come on. All right, I'm coming in. 3 myths. Strap in your seatbelts. The train is about to leave the station. First one, we don't know the cause of idiopathic scoliosis. All right, so let's break this down. Idiopathic scoliosis is basically we don't know what's causing the scoliosis. Okay, we have functional and structural scoliosis. Functional meaning fake, meaning we don't know what causes it. Now, there is structural scoliosis, scoliosis being a lateral curve of the spine or something like this. But when we're in 7th grade, they have everybody do the screening test where you are in a gown and you bend forward and they try to see if there's a curve in your spine and then it straightens out. And for the ones that do straighten out, those are considered functional or fake. They say, oh, idiopathic, we don't know what's going on with that. Boom. And those people end up having a lot of issues. Could be a lot of organ symptoms, autonomic, kind of more so like visceral stuff like GI intestinal or respiratory, cardiovascular, nerve, physiologic, musculoskeletal, low back pain, things like that. Maybe difficulty breathing. And people don't know what's causing that. Now, let's say that there is a reflex in the back of our brain. Now, here we go. Neuroscience. This is where I'm going to nerd out, okay? All right. So say I have a low back scoliosis. I come in, someone comes in saying, I have scoliosis. How the heck could the top bone of the neck help this? Now I'm here to tell you, myth bust, that the top bone of the neck is actually what's causing your low back scoliosis. So we have a reflex in the back of our brain that says that we have to see the world horizontal. It's called the righting reflex. And we have to see the world horizontal. No matter what orientation our head is in, our body and our brain will compensate and do what it has to do to make us perceive and see the world flat. So let's say I have a misalignment of the top bone of my neck, maybe going this way. So I'm looking at the world like this, and my brain still needs to see the world horizontal. Now, as we can tell, I'm looking at the world like this. I need to get to here. So what is my body going to do? I can't just go here. That'd be really nice, but unfortunately, I can't do that. So if I have a misalignment here, and I need to be able to see horizontal. What's my body going to do? I'm going to go like this. Now see what just happened here? Notice my neck curve. Now it's going diagonal this way from right. This is my right side. I know viewing might be a little backwards. Right side going to left. And then we see bottom low back like this. And then it's going to go back all the way down to my sacrum and my hips. That's literally what's causing people to have idiopathic scoliosis. It is on the medical journals, it's in the studies. They all know, okay, it's literally linked due to the upper bone of the neck, this reflex and posture stuff feeding into the back of the brain. And we just don't do anything about it. And we keep telling people, hey, you're just going to have to deal with scoliosis for the rest of your life. You're stuck with it. And there's nothing you can do. Maybe you'll get a lidocaine patch at an ER one day when your low back flares up. Sweet. A lot of people with scoliosis, they have breathing issues, they have respiratory problems, asthma, and it's because the ribs get all contorted. But people get surgeries. Shoot, my cousin got a surgery from like T1 down to L1 of his thoracic spine. Saw the pre-post x-rays, like that area looked good, but guess what his neck looked like on the post x-ray? Still looking at the world like this. I was like, you guys didn't fix what's causing the thing in the first place. So obviously I was a little bit pet peeved, but that's a reason, and that's actually is the reason for why there is idiopathic scoliosis and why people aren't saying anything about it. It's because it's actually rooted in our posture reflexes from the upper neck feeding into the back of our brain. So we do know this causes scoliosis, and upper cervical is a fantastic result of that. Number 2 is a good one. Autoimmune conditions are solely due to genetics. Now, there is a concept called epigenetics, which is saying that our environment has a influence on which genes are being expressed. So genetics are the genetic code that's in our cells. DNA is what codes for protein, what codes for protein synthesis, and certain proteins that are being expressed, and thus what's the chemicals that are being created within our body, especially when we think something. When we think, that makes our body feel. When our body feels, that makes us think. So everything is connected. Now, let's say, environmentally speaking, I have a negative thought. And I say, I hate snow because snow has been shutting the world down for the past 3 days. I hate snow. So I negatively think this thought. Thus, I'm going to be sending chemicals down to my body, and my body is going to feel, I hate snow. Whatever that makes your body feel like, the hate, the anger. And all of a sudden, you have an emotion. An emotion is actually due to a memory. Now, maybe the memory is because way back in the day as a kid, you had a bad snow day and you hurt yourself. So you say the snow sucks. Now, as an adult, you are now saying, I don't like snow. I hate snow. So you feel the hate, you think the hate, and now you are actually altering those chemicals that are being released due to that emotion from the memory that is associated with your mood. Those chemicals are going to be altering your gene expression, thus changing which genes are being expressed. 95% of conditions that are claimed to be genetic are actually due to epigenetics. Only 5% of conditions that are claimed to be genetic are actually genetic, such as like Huntington's disease. I forget another one. There was another one that was off the top of my head, but that's a crazy stat because we're told that, okay, these autoimmune conditions are due to solely genetics. But let me tell you this, genetics are actually just the first rung of the ladder, but they're not what pulls the trigger. What pulls the trigger, especially for autoimmune conditions, is when our body's stress load exceeds our body's tolerance to stress. There's a reason, like our body is designed to heal itself. It's day in, day out. That's why we have to sleep. It's because that's recovery, that's rejuvenation, that's regeneration. If our body is designed to heal itself day in, day out, all the time, why on earth would it then fight itself for years on end? It makes no sense. It's because there's such a stress load on the body, and the body isn't able to clear it out, that it stays in that environmental stress state. Thus, the environment is dictating what is occurring and being expressed in our cells and why our cells are fighting each other versus the actual genetic predisposition in the first place. Now, another piece, a lot of people who have autoimmune conditions take in and have heavy metal toxicity, right? Especially from like tap water. Now, with that is an environmental stressor because our bodies aren't supposed to have metal in it. or especially heavy metals like mercury, lead, things like that. Um, so if we have this environmental stressor in our body, then that our body's going to start fighting that because it recognizes, hey, we don't like this. Especially like gluten. Gluten's another one. Gluten has the same chemical marker as thyroid cells, and that's why a lot of people who end up getting Hashimoto's have they end up having gluten intolerance. It's because that gluten it's mirroring the same cell, and so the body is attacking the gluten, but the gluten has the same chemical makeup as the thyroid cells, and it starts attacking the thyroid cell. Thus, now we have an autoimmune condition uh, for Hashimoto's being blamed for genetics, but not actually what the cause and the trigger is, which is something environmental, more likely due to something that we have intaken in our body over a prolonged period of time. Another environmental stressor can be mold in your house. Because if you're constantly breathing this in, then your body's constantly fighting a toxin, thus changing the environment that's being introduced into the body, thus changing the environment of the body, thus changing how the body feels. If the body doesn't feel good because it's fighting something, then what's going to happen to the thought? You're not going to think good. So all that stuff is connected. All that stuff is connected. But autoimmune conditions, myth bust number 2, I'm here to tell you they're not due to genetics. That is the first rung of the ladder, but that is not what's pulling the trigger. Number 3, this is a good one. Number 3, healthcare myth bust. Brain MRIs and EEGs are the correct tests to use for your migraines. So what that means is brain MRIs, brain EEGs, brain CT scans, those are all going to be the correct diagnostic tests to determine what is a causative factor of your migraines. I'm here to tell you, complete myth, because migraines aren't a structural issue, they're a functional issue. Migraines are a functional issue with blood flow, nerve flow, and nervous system stress going from body to brain. So let's break that down. Our brain has and requires a constant supply of oxygen. Constant. It's like 60% of the air we breathe in goes to our brain. And also 60 to 70% of the food that we intake gets utilized for energy for our brain. Our brain is just a mega just Chevrolet Corvette humming at just fifth gear, just moving right now all the time. It's working. And so it needs a constant supply of oxygen, which means my body needs to be able to get the oxygen to my brain. Now, if I have a misalignment of the top bone of the neck or the second bone of the neck, which is how the blood has to travel from heart up to brain, is through a super tiny convoluted whole passageway from the bones of my neck getting up to my head. If I have a misalignment of that, kinking the flow, thus kind of jamming up the hose per se, then there is going to be less blood getting to my brain. Less blood getting to my brain means less oxygen getting to my brain. Now, if I have less oxygen getting to my brain, what are my brain cells going to do? They are going to freak out because they're getting less oxygen than they are used to. And that freak out is the fire alarm, which is a headache. Headaches are my brain cells saying, I don't have enough oxygen. Please get me oxygen. So it sends off the fire alarm. The fire alarm is going to be an increase in heart rate because basically my body is like, oh, shoot, I need to get oxygen to my brain. How can I do that? I can speed up my heart rate, speed the pump up to try and force more fluid through the kink in the hose. I can increase my blood pressure to try and get more fluid through, even though it's kind of pinched off at the top. And what's also going to happen is I'm going to have my muscles are all going to get contracted because I'm tense and stressed out due to the lack of oxygen. That's what's going to cause the muscles to contract. So all 3 of those pieces are just blood flow. Now, in addition, with migraines, there's also cerebrospinal fluid flow component of it too. Our brain creates a fluid that bathes our brain and nourishes our brain and our spinal cord, but it's created inside of our brain and our skull. Right. So our skull is a finite, a fixed, proportioned container, and the fluid is created in our brain. It has to drain out. So if I have an occlusion, something like this, of the top bone of my neck per se, versus being completely open like that, then I'm going to have a really tough time draining this fluid out. So this fluid is going to accumulate and build up, which is why people get those pressurized headaches, especially during storms, because during storms, we're going to have way more fluid come in and way more fluid being able to be drained out. It's because of a pressure change. So that's why we're having pressurized headaches. Now, the third part, nerve flow. If I have impaired nerve flow is what's dictating blood flow. Nerve flow is what's dictating creation of the cerebrospinal fluid. Nerve flow is what's dictating whether we're able to effectively switch between parasympathetic activity and sympathetic autonomic activity, or being stuck in sympathetic. If we're stuck in sympathetic, then we're going to be stuck into that high cortisol, high stress state, high heart rate, high blood pressure, just constantly in a state of mobilizing glucose. So we're going to have insulin resistance. It's just going to be a cascade of negative events, especially if sustained over a chronic period of time. All of those are going to contribute to why people are having migraines in the first place. But then our first instance is to go get a brain MRI, an EEG, and a brain CT scan saying, oh, we don't know what's causing this. Let's get you to the neurologist. And then what's the neurologist going to do? Probably prescribe you Amivig or amitriptyline or Topamax, and maybe get some Botox injections, because the Botox injections are actually just going to paralyze the muscles, thus forcing them to relax, but it's going to be more detrimental to those in the long run, because we need these neck muscles to be strong and sturdy to protect this area of the neck, because it's pretty important. It's your brainstem. It's literally your control center of your human body. It's what's coordinating everything else to work the way it's supposed to. So if you don't have that going, if you don't have that flowing, then yes. Okay, so if the myth is that the brain MRI and the EEG and the CT scan are not the correct test, what is? The correct test would be to measure central nervous system function that assesses blood flow, nerve flow, brainstem function, autonomic nervous system function of your body, which is computerized infrared thermography. Being able to get that assessment done, that is the actual diagnostic test for migraines. Migraines is a functional problem, not a structural problem, and we are telling people to get this structural test done, which is thus not going to reveal what the actual cause of the migraines are, because it's not a functional test, it's a structural test. There's my 3 myths. That was nice. That was a good flow. I enjoyed that. Any takeaways so far? Throw it in the chat. Like we said, we got a $100 giveaway coming on. If you guys have any questions, please throw that on. But those are my 3 myths. Man, that felt good. I got a lot more coming for you guys. Whew. But good thing is we do this every single week. So I can't be giving away all the secrets right now. We got to get home too. My apartment's really cold, probably hopefully above 52 degrees. I'll probably be hanging out there in a beanie and a sweatshirt, getting out of this doctor clothes. Shoot, maybe I'll sleep in here tonight, because tonight's honestly a lot warmer. But I hope you guys enjoyed that little tidbit, those little 3 myths. And I think I'm going to be signing off. Maybe I'll get some tea. Anyone else having tea tonight? If you are, throw it in the chat. I highly encourage it. Make sure it doesn't have caffeine. We got a doc coming on.
My friends, it is so great to see you all tonight. I am Dr. Cam. I'm not Dr. Chris. Not sure why it says that. Let's go ahead and change that right now. It's only a couple clicks. Boom. My friends, I am so grateful that you guys are on tonight. Listen, it's Wednesday night. We're cold here in Arkansas. We're located in central Arkansas, but we have people watching all across the beautiful state of Arkansas. Stay warm tonight, my friends. Today, I have 3 myths to go over, but before I do, listen, you have to join our YouTube channel. We're constantly trying to pump out content there. That's primarily where we're trying to transition all of our videos. So if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, I highly, highly encourage you, my friends, please go subscribe to the YouTube channel, but also tell your friends and family about it, because this information that we're giving out here is completely free information to the public for people to be able to understand more as it relates to their health concerns. Without a further ado, my friends, let's go ahead and get started. Myth number 1, you have to live with your condition the rest of your life. We see it far too often when people come into the clinic and they have lost all hope, and they have been told by either family, friends, or their medical doctors or other doctors that you're just going to have to live with this the rest of your life. My friends, I encourage you, that is not the case for a lot of conditions out there, especially for the ones that we call idiopathic. What does idiopathic mean? Idiopathic just means that we have no idea where the cause is coming from. And that's because the majority of the tests that we do for these different conditions aren't necessarily specific to the diagnosis that we're trying to get. For example, Dr. Chris just talked about how MRIs and EEGs, they're not very specific for migraines, but yet we do them as tests for migraines anyway. That's kind of confusing. But I just want to encourage the person listening to this today that may be suffering or that knows someone that is suffering from a health condition. My friend, you do not have to live with it the rest of your life. There is hope out there, which is why our motto here at The Specific is to get hope, get well, and live life. I tell people that when they come in here and they sit in our chairs in the clinic, we make sure we tell them, you may have been told to some extent, either from family, from a doctor, from your friends, from your coworkers, and you may start to believe to some extent that it's all in your head. And I'm here to tell you that's not the case. It could be coming from the upper neck. It could be coming from something else, which is why you need a doctor that is on your side. And so that's my myth number 1, that you have to live with the condition the rest of your life. That is just not the case. Hope is here. Before I transition to myth number 2, you gotta download our app. On our app, we have a ton of valuable information on that app. We have patient resources. We have the podcast on there. We have a lot of awesome stuff on there. Just go ahead and go into the Google Play Store or the App Store if you have an Apple, and just look up The Specific Centers. Go ahead and download that. I'll tell you what, take a screenshot, email it to us at littlerock@thespecific.com, and we'll send something special to you if you don't have it downloaded yet. Myth number 2. This one, again, you want to stay here till the end because we're going to be giving away a $100 Whole Foods gift card, okay, here in a couple of minutes. So you want to stay here till the end. This one's going to ruffle some feathers, though. Myth number 2. Your insurance company has your best interest. I'm going to let that one sink in because I know that's probably just created a very visceral response in some people. Myth number 2, your insurance company has your best interest. This is not the case. Now, some insurance companies do, some policies do, but for the most part, insurance companies do not have your best interest. One of the most common questions we get asked here across the board is, do we take insurance? And the answer to that question is no. The reason why we do not take insurance is because if we were to take an insurance, if we were in an insurance-based model, the insurance company dictates how many visits that specific patient needs, when in the reality is the people that are making these policies are not necessarily doctors, and they don't know the type of protocol that we're doing. So let's say we recommend Susie 30 visits, okay? Let's just say we recommend Susie 30 visits, and that those 30 visits are, we clinically recommended those visits to be able to provide Susie the best care possible. But the insurance company only says we're only going to cover 5 of those visits because that's what Susie's policy is. What happens a lot of times in the insurance model is that Susie will only come in for the 5 visits prescribed from her insurance company because she thought this is all the insurance company would cover. And this is just an example in our clinic. I'm sure if there's some other doctors that are on the line, they can vouch to the fact that some insurance companies and the way that they operate behind them, and I've seen it firsthand, they don't have your best interest, okay? Especially when they take however long to pay the doctors that you were seeing, which is why when you go to a hospital, or when you go to the ER, or when you go to the urgent care, they send you a bill like 3 months later. And it's because they're trying to do the whole negotiating on the back end with the doctor to say, hey, this is how much we're going to cover, this is how much we're not going to cover, this is how much the patient's responsible for. We're able to opt out of that from the get-go by not taking insurance. We have my beautiful wife, Megan, on the live tonight. She says, Soraya says, hi, Daddy. Soraya is my 2-year-old daughter. I love you too, sweetheart. Let's go to myth number 3. Medications should be the first line of defense. I'm going to let that one sink in a little bit too. Medications should be the first line of defense. Listen to me. I stand behind the allopathic medical model, and with medications under certain circumstances of diagnoses, okay? All I'm saying is that before we go to the absolute extreme of prescribing medication, we should start at a very conservative route first and then work our way to the allopathic model. Now, there is in some cases where, a very extreme circumstance where if I'm, going on a hike, I fall off Pinnacle Mountain and I break my arm, well, I'm not going to take a very conservative route towards that, right? I'm going to go ahead and get the care that I need to help restore that arm as soon as possible. And there's other conditions in which that's the case as well. But my friends, I'm encouraging you to just look at it from the opposite side for a second. If medications were supposed to get to the root cause, why in America right now we're prescribing the most medications we ever have, but yet we're one of the sickest we've ever seen in the country in terms of a historical standpoint? I mean, correlation versus causation, I understand that's a thing, but just think about it. Medications do not necessarily get to the root cause. All they're doing, in some circumstances, all they're doing is they're putting a Band-Aid on the symptom, and the reality is the fire is just getting worse. So those are my 3 myths to go ahead and recap. Number 1, you have to live with the condition the rest of your life. Number 2, your insurance company has your best interest. Number 3, medications should be the first line of defense. My friends, whether you agree with this or disagree with this, let us know in the comments. Please let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree. And it's okay to disagree, because that's where growth comes from, is where people disagree. So let us know in the comments. We also need you guys to comment, because we are giving away right now a $100 Whole Foods gift card. So my friends, go ahead and comment Whole Foods below to let us know you are here, to put you in that raffle. Let's go ahead and see it. We're going to go ahead and give people a couple minutes to go ahead and comment. Just comment Whole Foods, or just throw in any comment. Throw us your takeaway in the comments, and we're going to go ahead and give away this Whole Foods gift card right now to one lucky winner. Chiropractic first, folks. Love that, Randy. Love that. Melanie, I agree. So Melanie's in the house tonight. Who else do we have? We're going to give it one more minute. We'll give it until 7 o'clock, and we're going to go ahead and start this raffle. I really hope that you guys are staying warm tonight. Really, really do. I mean, it's supposed to get cold again. The streets are starting to really start to freeze over. Got Miss Pamela on. Yeah, streets are starting to freeze over again. The biggest thing from the Pacific Chiropractic Centers, folk, from me and all the doctors here: be safe. Be safe. Play it smart. Know where you can go. Know where you can't go. Try not to stretch yourself too thin. If you can only go to the grocery store, only go to the grocery store. If you can only go to Whole Foods, only go to Whole Foods, because we're going to go ahead and drop the raffle right now. Chris, you want to come on the screen? Actually, here, I'll add you to stage. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, you're muted. Oh, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah, why are you trying to mute me, man?
I know, my bad.
On. Just because I talked the first time, no, I can't come on the second time, huh? Jeez. Trying to get the producer out of here.
All right, my friends. So we're going to go ahead and give away a Whole Foods gift card right now. Looks like we have 3 people. We have Randy, we have Melanie, and we have Pamela. We're going to go in that order. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go ahead and ask Siri right now. I'm going to say, give us a random number between 1 and 3. Give me a random number between 1 and 3. It's 1. Randy, you are the winner of the Whole Foods gift card tonight, my friend. Super excited for you. That's why we do this. And listen, every single week we're giving away something new, right? Every single week we're giving away something new. And we're actually looking at doing a lottery here, but we're not going to get into that right now. But just know that this lottery could get very big, especially for those of you who are actively involved right now. That gets you a chance at the lottery. But that's just that's just arbitrary. I mean, that's later. Right now, let's focus on the Whole Foods gift card. Mr. Randy, you win the Whole Foods gift card, my friend. We're going to go ahead and keep it here either at the clinic or we'll send it your way. We'll get in contact with you. We really hope you guys got a ton of valuable information tonight, and we are very, very excited for what is coming up here at the specific chiropractic centers, but most importantly, what's happening here in Arkansas as we make the shift to make Arkansas the happiest, healthiest community in existence. God bless you, my friends. You guys have a wonderful night. Stay safe. And until next time, we'll see you.